Meeting of the Navasota City Council is called to order on this Monday, the 23rd of September, 2024 in council chambers. Let the record show all council members are present. Welcome and thank you for being here this evening. We'd like to ask that you put your cell phones in the silent mode. And a reminder to visitors, please sign in. If you wish to speak under visitors' remarks, please fill out the form found in back and state your name and address at the podium, as we must document all meeting business and remarks limited to 3 minutes. Tonight is also a hearing, so you're not required to sign in, but just wanted to make that point. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor T.J. Green of First Baptist Church, then followed by the pledges. I don't see him here.
Here.
Okay. Councilman Harris.
Well, I'm not Pastor Green, but Father God, as we come with thanksgiving in our heart. Father, we ask that you bless us all tonight. And Father, we just ask that as a city of Navasota, that you let us be able to agree to disagree and to disagree to agree. Father, we live in a great town and a great city, and we ask that you pour all your blessings on us. Father, we ask that you just touch us one by one and then just touch us all together and just keep us in your tender care. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
None for remarks of visitors. Mr. Sanders. Susie.
I want to say good evening to Mayor, City Council, staff, amen, all of us that are here. First of all, I want to start off, amen, I want to thank the City Public Works on the road for coming. Maybe they came a little late, but they did clean out the ditches, and we paying for some covers. Amen. I had some pave on 3 of my driveways. They put rocks and dirt. Also, I want to say that I know we got a great city. My wife been here all her life. Amen. And I was born in Anderson. I'm probably older than most of you all up there except 2. I'm looking. Amen. I just look like this. But I pray that our city would do what's right. Amen. I really do. I've been praying for the mayor and the city council. Some of y'all speaking, some of y'all don't. Amen. And I don't think that's good. And I pray that God will continue to allow y'all to govern this city the right way. Because the right way gonna win, not the wrong way. And I just thank him, amen, for my wife and my family, who all of my girls graduated. All of them got degrees, masters. And I thank God for that. Because I train them up like the Bible says in the way you should go. I believe in the word of God. I want to encourage the city. God's eyes is in every place, beholding the good and the evil. So I thank you all but as I say, y'all clean out the ditches. The road is way too high. Amen. And it might just be a little bit too late when the contractor, I had one to come. They all saying the same thing. So when the other one come, they said the same thing, then we're going to go from there. God bless you. God keep you is our prayer.
Mr. Weeks, you'll look into that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jose. Y'all move with that, thank you. Stay safe.
All right. Item 4 is the staff report. Mr. Weeks.
Mayor and council, I've got a proclamation, Mayor, that I think you're going to read for National Night Out, so I'll have Police Chief to come up with you.
It is in that folder and at the very bottom,
All right.
the black folder.
Make it official right quick.
Yeah.
Gotta get the spectacles on too to be able to read. Proclamation of the City of Navasota National Night Out. Whereas on Tuesday, October 15th, the City of Navasota will participate in the celebration of annual National Night Out. And whereas National Night Out is a great opportunity for the community, law enforcement, and other public safety officials to join forces with over 37 million people nationwide in support of America's Night Out against crime. This event is planned to promote crime and drug prevention awareness and to strengthen police and community partnerships to keep our neighborhoods safe. And it's essential that all citizens of the community be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and their impact that their participation can have on reducing crime in Navasota. Therefore, I, Mayor of the City of Navasota, do hereby proclaim the night of Tuesday, October 15th as National Night Out and call upon all citizens in Navasota to join the Navasota Police Department and public officials in support of National Night Out by hosting a block party or joining a block party on October 15th.
Mayor, don't go too far. The next item, I'm going to ask for some of our Public Works crew that's part of the Bubba cook-off for the City Slickers team. Could y'all come on up, please? Jennifer, is Jose here too?
No,
Okay. Okay. Jennifer, come on up here too. It's your group too. So Mayor and Council, our City Slickers cook-off team participated in the Bubba Can Cook-Off, and they won second place chicken, and so wanted to bring them up and honor them. Thank you, guys. Mayor and Council, if you're on that item, several years ago, we used to have the City Slickers, and it's something that I thought we wanted to bring back, and so they participated the last couple of years on a couple of other cook-offs, and they've been doing some cook-off events here, and so it's something I think it's a great opportunity for our Public Works team. They're always in the trenches. A lot of people don't see what all they do. And so I did hear that they kind of got a little rowdy out there at the fairgrounds, but it was all fun and live up the place. And so I appreciate y'all and appreciate all y'all do. And thanks for participating. And too bad I couldn't be out there to get some of that chicken, but we're hoping for first place next time. Thanks, guys. Next, Mayor and Council, I'm going to have John McKay come up and give us an update on some of our CIP projects, please.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. John McKay, graduate engineer.
going to go through these briefly. It's been a big couple of weeks for us. Pecan Lakes Gas Loop, we did the final walkthrough. We're down to touch-up paint. That project is pretty much put away. The CIP project, you'll notice they're stabilizing Courtney Road. This is the last road that they're stabilizing. BPI, our asphalt subcontractor, is actually starting to bring equipment into town to begin work this week, which is good news. Also in the good news category for the 2024 street maintenance project, today they laid the last bit of asphalt on that project. They're down to dressing up the shoulders and closing out that project, so that's complete. And more good news, unexpectedly, City of Navasota was chosen for the 2023 Community Block Development Grant that we applied for a couple of years back. It's through the state. The project that we chose to go for was replacing water and sewer on Minnie Street between Foster and McAlpine. Because of where those lines lay, it's going to, similar to the CIP project, require paving a lot of that road as well, which is an upside. The contract with the state's expected to start in about February for design and environmental. So, and then after we get environmental clearance and design finalized, that'd be when you start to see bidding of the project and completion after there.
Appreciate it.
You don't have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. Reports from council for any boards and commissions. I'm going to try to read really fast here, but there's a lot of things coming up that I just want to make everyone aware of. September 23rd is the fall choir concert, the high school and junior high, and that's at Brosig at 6:30 on the 23rd.
Today. Not today.
Oh, hello. It is 23rd, isn't it?
Have to run to get there.
I think it may be tomorrow. I don't know. Sorry about that, that started out wrong. See, the chamber hosting a mixer between the city and the Examiner. That is on the 26th. If I got that date right.
Yeah, it's here in City Hall.
And that's here at City Hall at 5:30, so I want to invite everyone out for that. On the 27th is a girls' night out. They're showing the Barbie movie from 6 to 9 at the Navasota Center. The 27th through October 7th is Navasota Theater Alliance's Savannah Sipping Society be going on, so you can go onto their website and get your tickets. October 1st through the 4th, and then on the 18th, there's going to be a Halloween costume exchange at the Navasota Center. Bring out the kids for that. October 3rd is the Realtor Developer Breakfast hosted by the Navasota Grimes County Chamber at Navasota River Halls. And that is a RSVP event, so make sure you call the chamber and get signed up for that. That's on the 3rd from 8:30 to 11. October 4th, we're going to get the visit from the UP 4014 steam trains coming to town. That's the Heartland of America tour, and they're making actually 2 whistle stops in Navasota. It's really exciting to get 1, but to get 2 is even better. October 4th will be from 11 to 11:30. It's going to be right here at McAlpine and Railroad. And on October 7th, Monday, from 1:30 to 2. So be sure to come out for that. We're also working with the school on a coloring project and also hopefully going to have some participation from the school in that event. And just the big thing to remember there is 25 feet away from the train. That's the biggest safety concern. So be sure if you do come for that to stay that distance. October 8th is the Grimes St. Joseph Health Fair at the fairgrounds. October 12th, Toddler Fun Run from 8 to 10 at Bruley Park in Navasota Center. And October 12th, Farmers Market at the library. 15th, National Night Out. And I believe you can still sign up block parties for that still, right, Mike? We still? 11th is the deadline, so yeah. And the 19th of October is the Chambers Reds, Wheats, and Blues Festival. Starts at 4 at Navasota River Halls out on 105. Tickets available at the Chamber. That same day, that morning, will be Pups and Pumpkins from 10 to noon at the dog park at August Horst. October 19th is a hazardous waste event at Twin Oaks. Well, it's not at Twin Oaks, but it's hosted by Twin Oaks. It's at the University Services Building off Harvey Road. That's where you can take your hazardous materials like paint and different things that you cannot put in your regular trash.
Electronics.
Sir?
Electronics.
Electronics as well, right. That's on the 19th, 7 to 2 that day. The 24th of October through the 27th is Lanterns and Legends put on by Navasota Theater Alliance. This year is Faces in the Windows, which is going to be about different families that lived in the different Victorian and Southern mansions here in Navasota. Treats on the Streets have October 31st. That's here over on McAlpine, across from, or next to City Hall. And I think that's about it.
So in coalition with our National Night Out, our library is, and our community service directors holding the nonprofit fair.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a nonprofit and want to be participating in that from 6 to 8, please reach out to Tiffany Byers at the library to get signed up for that nonprofit fair. Also, we've got the Historical Tax Credit Workshop on October 25th from noon to 1:30 at the P.A. Smith Hotel.
All right, item number 5. Conduct a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comment and testimony regarding a zoning change application submitted by CAJ Family Limited Partnership for the purpose of developing an auto zone, a retail sales use. Zoning application requests changing the zoning from Article 6, R1B, medium density, single dwelling unit, quarter acre residential district with Article 10 overlay district to Article 11 B1 General Business District with Article 10 Overlay District. Property affected is located at 1539 East Washington Avenue, Navasota, Texas 77868. Legally described as Jones Block 1, Lot 3. And I want to start by saying we're going to have an introduction here by Mr. Diosdado. But we respectfully request decorum during this hearing with no outbursts and 3-minute maximum time to speak.
Applause.
Sir?
What about applause?
Outbursts includes applause. Okay, go ahead.
Public hearing?
Open public hearing.
We'll open the hearing at 6:19.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, good evening. As you read, Mayor, the summary of the application, CAJ Family Limited Partnership has submitted a zoning change application for the property located at 1539 East Washington. Just a brief summary, Planning and Zoning Commission did hold their public hearing on September 12th. Yeah, that picture is really large, so I'll zoom out here in a second. On September 12th, after an extended public hearing comment, majority of the comments received at that hearing were opposed to the request. After the public hearing was closed, Planning and Zoning did vote unanimously to recommend to the City Council to deny the proposed zoning change. The exact motion was it being due to being contrary to the public interest, and also due to a previous precedent being set of past commercial rezoning attempts being denied there. For a quick reference, tonight, CAJ Family Limited Partnership is here representing the application. Members of AutoZone team could not make it tonight, but Mr. and Mrs. Matthews are here to answer any questions, and I believe Sally's going to give a quick, brief summary of the application. And I believe that is all the information I have, unless I have any questions. Sally?
little taller. My name's Sally Matthews, and 1539 East Washington is an investment rental home that we have. But am I supposed to be talking about AutoZone, or am I supposed to be talking about me, or what? Right now?
Zoning change application.
And so, I'm like AutoZone, giving them information on that, correct? Okay. Well, AutoZone is a Fortune 500 company. They picked this, they have site selection specialists, and they picked this because they think this is the premier site. And they bring, I think, 18 to 20 jobs. It's a soft user. There's not a drive-through. They typically do a cinder block exterior, but because they want to make this more of a, going with the neighborhood, they're making it red brick. So they're definitely trying to make it, a good fit for Navasota. And let's see what else. I mean, they're going to bring a lot more property taxes, and it's an influx for the city. And it is a good, easy user. I mean, there's no drive-through. There's commercial all around it. We're 700 feet from the bypass. We're 250 feet from Walmart. We're 125 feet from the dealership. We're 60 feet from Burger King, and we're 60 feet from the insurance company, which is also zone commercial, which is directly across the street from this property. But do y'all have any questions about AutoZone?
Yes, I do have one.
Okay.
The representative for the AutoZone Port Store, is there a reason why he couldn't be here tonight?
Well, because they were denied 5-0 last time, and they couldn't make it. He's coming from Memphis, and I tried to do a Zoom, and I think they said that wasn't plausible since the rest of the community couldn't, come Zoom or whatever. So that's why. And I think they were incredibly surprised because they think that they're a good user and they bring a lot to the community. And so I think they were very surprised that there was such negative, feedback. But now can I say my voice, or do you still want to talk about AutoZone?
Sure, we just have, you'll just be speaking in regular hearing in just a 3-minute time limit.
Okay. Well, we bought this property with the intention of, my husband's a dentist, to build a dental office there. And the building costs, it's not a feasible thing. The numbers do not work. And this property, it is zoned residential, but right now in that overlay district, there's 58 properties, and out of those 58 properties, 20 are commercial and 38 are residential. And out of those 38 residential, 50% are owned by investors. So in that overlay district, 84% is either commercial or owned by investors. The people to the west of me, that's an investment. The Burger King's to the east of me, and then you've got Walmart and everything else. And the citizens of Navasota have said, oh, it's the commercial creep. No, it's working. There's 3 residential homes starting from ours on Post Oak. Two are investments, 1 is homesteaded, and then you've got 4 commercial properties right behind that. I canvassed this neighborhood, and I'm glad y'all are here, and I'm glad everyone has a voice, but this is not the voice of Navasota. I have over 100 applicants or people that said, yes, of course, I want AutoZone to come. I want better roads. I mean, the potholes in this city, I couldn't take enough pictures to show all y'all. I didn't have enough money at Walgreens today to do that. And our house is not a historical home. It was built in 1953. It's on a slab. It's got very low roof, and it's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. It is not a historical home. And I think I've said this before. I've been in commercial real estate in Austin and San Antonio, and I know there's always conflict. And I understand, you may not want this in your community, but the house that's there, I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. It's a wooden home versus, you're gonna get a red brick home with much better landscaping. All my shrubs are dead, and I'm probably gonna get a fine because I need to have it mowed. But, this is not what you think it's gonna be. It's also called progress, but in towns, the commercial is on the major freeways, the entrance to your city. The residential is behind. That is you can go to any city anywhere, and that's what it is. And I would hate to anybody to say that that's different. I mean, I don't mean to make anybody unhappy, but it's called progress. The schools need to be better. The streets need to be better. Everything. People need jobs. They're going to bring 18 to 20 jobs. This is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. And it's a soft user. Okay. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for your time. But over 100
Anyone wish to speak, you have a 3-minute max, and state your name and address at the podium.
Hello, my name is Kathy Cave Wells, and my address, I own the home at 403 Holland. I live out at Whitehall, and so it's a historic home. And so I feel like I have things to say. For one thing, there might be 140 people that want an AutoZone. I'd love for us to have an AutoZone, but I don't want it on Washington Avenue. It's the gateway to Navasota, and it's not a good image to show people coming into town for the first time. Yes, there are businesses on Washington Avenue. A lot of that happened before the historic overlay, and so you can't fix what was there already. And so I'm not against progress, but I am against making Washington Avenue look any more commercial than it already does. And I think Post Oak is a good place to draw the line. And yes, you've let your bushes die. And so the house does look bad, but the house could be used for something commercial. Or look what Edward Jones did. Edward Jones had an historic home removed, but they built something small and unintimidating. And so your research that you did for this did not take into account a lot of the historical changes that have happened over the years. So I would like to, first of all, I would like to thank the City Council for letting me come and speak today. But very quietly, I ask those who are here, and I want to remind you that there are people that come to all of these events against what you have offered to build there. We're not against there being something there. We just don't want it to be AutoZone. There are plenty of other places where you could put an AutoZone in Navasota. But I would like to ask quietly, because the City Council wants us to be quiet. If you are here, and I'm not asking the city employees or people associated that have to be here for that purpose, please stand and show if you are against this AutoZone. And I realize not everybody here is here about AutoZone, but I think this is a pretty good indicator that there are an awful lot of people that are against this request. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Next.
My name's Nancy Perry. I'm the broker for Navasota Realty, and I'm involved in a lot of growth and development in and around Navasota, Grimes County in general. Sally is completely right. This building is a huge upgrade from what is currently located on that corner. This building is going to represent millions of dollars in increased revenue and a benefit to the overall city of Navasota. It will be ongoing, generating tax dollars from sales, employees. I mean, this is a very desirable, good thing to go on that corner. The old home that's there has little value. No one's ever going to invest into that old home to make it something that we are going to be proud of or that the city in general is going to benefit from. Now, I have a lot of investors, a lot of developers, a lot of people that I work with routinely that are looking for property to develop various types of businesses. And City Hall, City Council, P&Z is holding this city back. Instead of helping to grow the city by denying things that are perfectly logical for people to use their land to its highest and best use, you're diminishing the growth and the values in Navasota. This building will increase the property values up and down Washington Avenue threefold by the comp of what this property would be selling for a commercial use versus it being utilized residentially. I personally own a home on Washington Avenue that I completely and totally intend at some point on that being a business. I have other clients who own property up and down Washington Avenue that have every intention of having businesses on Washington Avenue. It is my opinion, and many of my associates' opinion, that Washington Avenue is a commercial thoroughfare for the city of Navasota. And other than some of our really beautiful old historic homes, I think denying the highest and best use of those lots and doing away with those old homes that have little to no value and allowing it to be upgraded to commercial is in the best interest of this overall community.
Got the time limit, sir.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Good evening, council members and fellow residents. My name is Marco Antonio Castañeda, 804 East Washington Avenue. I am here to speak again about the proposed AutoZone project near Highway 6, and I'd like to take a moment to address some of the concerns and realities we face. I understand and respect the desire of many of you to preserve the character of Washington Avenue. It's a beautiful part of our town, and its history is important to all of us. But Navasota is growing, whether we like it or not. Cities like Bryan and College Station are expanding rapidly, with more and more people considering Navasota as a place to live, raise families, and run businesses. This influx of people will continue, and with it comes the need for responsible growth. Projects like AutoZone, located near Highway 6, offer us a way to channel this growth into areas that are designated for it, keeping our historic core intact. By concentrating new commercial development in the right zones, we can protect what makes Navasota special while still benefiting from increased businesses and economic opportunities. From a business perspective, developments like this one brings jobs and help attract new customers to our area, but more importantly, they contribute to our property tax base, which funds the vital services that keeps Navasota running, our schools, parks, infrastructure, and more. Without these investments, the burden of supporting these services will continue to fall more heavily on residents and small business owners like myself. Now I'd like to close by addressing the simple truth. Change is inevitable. Whether we like it or not, Navasota will look different in 20 years, and many of us in this room, including myself, may not be here to see it. But what we can do today is shape that future for the better. By making smart, responsible decisions about where and how we grow, we ensure that Navasota remains a vibrant, thriving community for generations to come. We need to embrace the opportunities in front of us while carefully preserving the parts of our town that we hold dear. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor. My name is Elton Wilson. My wife, here she is, Rhonda Wilson.
He talks a lot. Rhonda Wilson, I live on East Washington Avenue. My heart is kind of beating because as they describe the homes. My home is, I've owned it for 5 years. It was built in 1950. It's priceless. I love my home. I don't live in Navasota. We travel 83 miles today to be here so that our voice can be heard. I am not a talker, but again, I'm just shaking in my boots. I want to build, I have one bath. I want to build another bath and another bedroom. That's on pause because if this comes here, I'm not going to want to come to Navasota, sit on my front porch looking at AutoZone. That's not what I signed up for. So, I'm just asking that you guys take consideration of those of us who come who wants peace. That can be placed on the outskirts of Highway 6 and on LaSalle, throughout Navasota. My husband and I have been driving around finding places for this AutoZone. We want an AutoZone here, but I don't want the AutoZone in my neighborhood. So I would ask the question, would you want to live next door to an AutoZone? And I can probably, majority of people will probably say no, not in Navasota, Texas. So I said last time, we want to keep Navasota beautiful. So let's keep Navasota beautiful. And my 1950 home, it is timeless. And I want it to stay there. I don't want it to be moved. Because if that comes, I guess, I have no other choice but to move. I don't want to move. I want to retire in that home. So thank you so much. I'm sorry. Thanks.
Okay, now I'm finished. Ma'am, you spoke eloquent, and I appreciate what you said, and I appreciate all you guys here representing her when she asked us to stand. But the reason why I'm here, most of you guys know me. I'm with the Keep Navasota Beautiful Committee. My wife and I are liaisons for the Carver Edition. Years ago, that edition looked like trash. But if you go anywhere near Carver, except for the school on the highway, that neighborhood looks like a neighborhood. Even though it's no new homes yet, eventually they're going to come. The reason why I'm here, I'm nothing against the realtors, nothing against the people that own the house is trying to give it to AutoZone, sell it to AutoZone or whatever. But that building could be a perfect building for some school kids that need reading after school. It could be a perfect place for some elderly people who need to get out the house. You know, it's a lot of uses that building can be used for. AutoZone can go across the street, next to the Shell, between the hotel, there's a big empty lot. Down the street they have what do you call that thing? It's like they have a lot of food trucks, a food court over here, across the street from Brooks Brothers. That started out with one little food truck. And then people clean that lot and they start putting more and more trucks. Now it looks like a nice area, but it's in a commercial district. It's over there near O'Reilly. I believe competition make business great. So if you put AutoZone close to O'Reilly, they both will make money because more people come. One don't have a party across the street. But over there in our neighborhood, we have a Burger King. At the last meeting, there was a guy in here. He said every time they order burgers at Burger King, he lives on Post Oak in that area. He said, I can hear them. I can hear the microphones. I can hear the people slamming their doors. At AutoZone, this is my problem. I like beauty. I like to keep trash cleaned up and picked up. I just know in my heart, y'all was talking about an environmental meeting coming. Somebody gonna have to do some environmental checking once AutoZone come, because every man that works on a car have an oil leak or have antifreeze leak and it gets in the parking lot. And eventually that parking lot is gonna rain. All of that water is gonna run right down East Washington back down here to City Hall, because the water runs from up there. I sit on my porch and watch the water run down here all the time.
About it, 3 minutes.
Okay,
Sorry.
well, that's cool.
It's okay.
The point is, man, either we're going to keep Navasota beautiful or we're going to decide not to. Thank you.
Again, state your name and address.
Somebody left their glasses.
Oh. That's his, yeah.
My name is Judith LaFontaine, and I moved to Navasota with my husband in 1981. There was only one house that was big enough to fit me and our 5 children, and I'm so grateful that it was on North Post Oak. It was a vacant house, had been vacant, and had been built earlier than we bought it. It was like brand new. But the best part about moving to North Post Oak was coming in to Navasota. Yes, there were commercial, that first 2 blocks, because there were 2 blocks from the freeway. Of course, there's lots of commercial. Somehow or another, Burger King got slipped under us, and all of a sudden we're seeing this Burger King go up on this lot where this beautiful home was. Have no problem with them tearing the home down, but they could have put something a little smaller, like they can on the lot across, and it still be commercial. I don't think any of us want to stop Navasota from growing. It's grown a whole lot since 1981, and it's going to keep growing. People are moving in here from Houston, College Station, from just about everywhere. But North Post Oak is still the quietest, best neighborhood I think, in all of Navasota. I raised my 5 children there, and it still is. Yes, it's changed. I'm probably next to Miss Smith, probably the oldest one on that block. I just can't imagine a building as large as AutoZone. I'm not opposed to AutoZone, and yes, we need jobs, but you know what? Burger King's not doing too good because they can't keep employees and they can't hire enough employees to help them. They've got their hire sign ever since they've been on that block. That's not a good place for that Burger King. But didn't have any say-so in that. So it's there. Now we need to make everybody happy about it. But it still stinks when you turn the corner. I've been turning the corner ever since I was here before, 2 weeks ago. And I've been driving in and out of Post Oak and turning the corner and trying to envision what that AutoZone would be like.
It's time.
Time's up. Okay. That's good. I can't even imagine what it would be like.
Hi, I'm Marcia Wellman. I live at 219 North Post Oak Street. I wanted to start with a sentiment you all had last month in Mr. Weeks' words of what do we want our town to look like. Now when you drive into town along Washington Avenue, you're flanked by yards of grass and mature trees. And do we really want to start replacing that with concrete and buildings and lights and trash? And sure, there's economic development, but the bottom line is this is our neighborhood. We live on a dead-end street. This is the only entrance and exit that we have to get home, and it's already difficult with the Burger King and the other businesses and the traffic speeding into town. There's 2 lanes that merge into one. There's no sign for merging. People are going 40+ miles per hour, turning in and out of Subway and the car wash and the Burger King, and it's already taxing to leave and come home every day. I can't imagine if you add another business to the other side of Post Oak, what that's going to add to the traffic problem that we already have. And maybe you don't notice it because you don't have to turn on North Post Oak very often, if ever, but it's certainly a challenge for us. And we would really appreciate if you vote no tonight. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Lisa Benford. I live at 202 Moore Street. My property backs up to the dwelling in question. that they're trying to put an AutoZone, and I would just makes me very upset. Who wants a big commercial building put in their backyard? I certainly do not. I'm very concerned that it's going to decrease the value of my home and all the homes around us. You know, we work very hard for what we have, and I'm sure if the sale does go through, that you will be very profitable. But what about everybody else that has worked very hard, that is these are their homes, where they're wanting to retire? It's just not fair. I'm concerned about the lighting and the noise, the cars kind of coming back. The cars will back up evidently almost to my backyard right there. You know, I like to come home in the evenings and sit in my backyard and have quiet time and play with my dogs. And I don't want to hear, you know, hood slamming or worried about fluids being leaking into my yard. And I would almost bet that if it was the other person that it was happening to, I mean, they would definitely not want a big commercial building right next to them or in their backyard. And so that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julie Barrett, and I own the house that my grandmother and my grandfather,
What's your address?
I'm sorry, 225 Hillside is their house, and that's the one I own it, but I also live on 159 in Navasota. She was a resident here in Navasota for 80 years, and I have been coming to Navasota for my entire life. Before I decided to move here. And I am very concerned that the desire for growth is going to cause us to consider sacrificing some of the things that make Navasota great. We all want growth and a good tax base for our schools and for our city, but we don't think that, or I don't think that we need to sacrifice anything that's positive about Navasota in order to make that happen for our community. There are plenty of lots, like others have said, in areas where this would be definitely more suitable, but I don't know why some experts think this would be such a great spot, because number of cars that pass that corner are not necessarily any different than other places in the city, as far as, at least from an observer's point of view. So definitely I would be concerned about traffic being brought to all of the streets in that area, Post Oak for sure, but the hillside that goes to the elementary school and over to 6 and other cut-through roads, I think traffic will be increased all through those neighborhoods, and that's a concern for me. But also to lose a possible location and compromise the homes and the view of the home across the street, and the value of the homes that are around it, and then the appearance of Washington Avenue, one of the big draws to Navasota. I don't think we need to sacrifice those things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Betsy Leonard. I live on McNair Street, and so I'm not right in this neighborhood, but we've been here a long time and have a lot of interest in maintaining East Washington as the beautiful little area that it is. It's the only residential entry we have to town, and I think it's a real short-sighted matter to turn it commercial and lower all those property values of the homes around there, just for the sake of maybe some sales tax. I think you can get the sales tax still if AutoZone is located elsewhere. You'll still get the sales tax, you'll still keep the charm of this entry into Navasota. And you have to agree, it is pretty. A lot of those businesses that are there were there before the overlay was in place. And so I like this, that we don't have to accept rezoning for a commercial. We can still have something. You know, that house, our house was built in the 60s, and it's a low roof frame home that we have maintained, kept up. It's got its value, and the same thing can happen to this house. It can be added onto. That's a huge lot. Plenty of room for a family to add on to the house with a beautiful yard. So it doesn't have to go commercial. Like many in Navasota, I'm interested in the history and the charm. As you all know, I've been here a lot on other historical matters, and this all ties into keeping Navasota what tourists come here for and what some people like enough about Navasota to move here. So keep Navasota beautiful. Thanks, guys.
My name's Todd Matthews, 103 Church Street, and I'm the owner of this property along with my wife. I've heard a lot of sentiment from the people that live right around this property, and you know, I understand the view. Some of the views I think are reasonable, some I don't, but that's my opinion. I've been a member of this community for about 15 years. I bought Dr. Kubik's practice, and my intention was to come to Navasota to grow my business. And anyway, my wife has become, and I've become part of this community. I've served on an advisory committee at the city for maybe 10 years or so. And I guess the question I have is, your job, as I see it as the council, is to represent the entire population of Navasota. We've given you 100 members of your community, a little over 100, that are proponents of this business. And I consider AutoZone a soft user. This is the third company that's come to try to put their business on this property. So these are two of which are Fortune 500 companies that have excellent site selection folks that work for them. And we did not have this land up for sale. They came to us, and Taco Bell came to Mr. Crouch. Anyway, I guess there's a little over 8,400 people that live in this community. We've heard from 50. We've heard from another 100. We've heard from 50 that are against it. We've heard from 100 that are for it. So you were elected to do what's best for the city. We've heard about property tax increases. We've heard about the revenue from sales tax. I think these are important things to consider. And I want you to consider what this place is going to look like in 10 years from now or 5 years from now. What is that property going to look like? Because whether you like it or not, that is a commercial corridor into the city. And if you live close to Washington Street, if you live in on Post Oak Street, there's 16 homes there. There's a lady that lives across the street that wants to sit on her front porch and watch cars go by and drink coffee, and that's okay, and I understand that. She lives in Houston. She wants to come to someplace quiet. But I think your job as the council, and you've been elected to do so, is to represent the entire community and do what's best for them. And with that, I close. Thank you.
Todd Wisner, 416 Holland Street, sitting voting member of Planning and Zoning, although I speak not for the committee at this time. I don't really have a prepared statement like I normally do. I will say I appreciate Dr. Matthews and his family for investing in the community. I would say, however, when we get numbers about percentages of properties that are already commercial on that street and everything, I think it's some numbers games here. If there are people who have bought
residential properties as investors or speculators with the expectation that they can come to the city and get things changed in order to have that investment make money for them. That's a gamble. And that's the gamble that they take when they buy these properties. I think commercial creep isn't just a word, it's a potential problem. And I think people have decided that this is a good spot to put our line, and let's keep it at that. Obviously, AutoZone has very expensive paid help to do site proposals and figure out where things go. It's based off of a lot of number crunching, cars per hour, average incomes and stuff like that. We just moved O'Reilly 2 blocks off the street, right, down the street and off the main road. Either they don't have as good of a team figuring out where they need to site their property, or they recognize that being where it is adequate for the revenue that they tend to generate. So I'm just putting it out there. This is what we're here. This is what we're thinking. Thank you.
Ricardo Reels, 220 North Post Oak. Councilman, Mayor, appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to us. You know, I've been on Post Oak not as long as Miss LaFontaine is, but I do remember her husband very well as Mr. Wallace that lived right across the street from me. You know, when I moved down that neighborhood, I was the youngest guy there, and I remember Mr. Wallace told me, before I do anything, I had to check with him. He wanted me to go through him before I did anything. And you know, as I'm getting older and everybody's moving out and whatever, I feel like I could almost take that role of Wallace. But that's going to be a tough one. But my concern is, let's keep Navasota beautiful. You know, y'all hear a bunch of numbers crunching, you know, tax revenue, jobs. You know, like Ms. LaFontaine said, there's been a now hiring sign on Burger King since they opened. I'm just asking you guys to listen to your hearts and just listen to your hearts and see what they tell you. And you know, this is going to be an uphill battle. You know, this is already, we've done this a couple times, and it's not going to be the last time. You know, and you know, everyone seems a little different than the other one. But at the end of the day, if you just listen to your heart, and that's all I can ask. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Julie Myers. I live at 312 North Post Oak, and I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to let us speak. I'm asking y'all to vote no against rezoning. Traffic has increased on our street, turnaround traffic, since they put in the Burger King. And every day, time after time, there's cars turning around at the end of the street, further up the street. And it's just not a pretty way to enter the city. It's not a pretty way to enter our street to see a building like that. And then if you allow this, where does it stop? I mean, nobody's going to want to live next door to an AutoZone. Nobody wants to live next door to Burger King. You know, does it stop at the Horlock House with a used car lot next door? I mean, it's just please keep Navasota beautiful. We're not just any city. We're special. We're Navasota. And I admit I'm one of those people who drives too slow down Washington because I just love the drive. I love the trees and the houses. It's a pretty city. Let's keep it that way. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Hurtan, and I live on County Road 318 outside of Navasota. I moved here about 10 years plus ago, and I am originally, and I hate to say it, no one go up crazy, I'm originally from California. Yeah, dun, 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 dun. One of the best decisions I ever made was to flee California, because I understand, I look at Navasota now and I see what's coming. I was raised in a very rural area outside of Los Angeles, a suburb of a suburb of a suburb of a suburb, and it came. And unfortunately, again, some of the short-sightedness of what was being built and done and planned created what was a very rural little city, Simi Valley, California, into nothing but strip malls. Now they have a high-rise, four-story apartment building that blocks out the sun from the neighbors, the houses that live behind it. They will never see the light of day again in their backyards. I have seen what's coming, and I love Navasota. The reason my husband and I came here and chose Navasota, I literally did a tour of Texas, and I picked Navasota because I loved driving down Washington and seeing the beautiful homes. It was home. It was a community. And I understand it's coming. The growth is coming. We can't stop it. But just let's be smart about it and plan for it in a very smart way. The Woodlands, they've kept all the trees. You can't find it where the Trader Joe's is, but they've kept the trees, and they've planned for it. I don't see why we can't do that either. Growth is coming, and that's great. AutoZone, terrific. Put it next to the not the Burger King, the Jack in the Box. I mean, that's going to be a corridor right in through there. So there's a better place for it. But please keep Washington a beautiful, happy, nice place to drive, to be part of the community. And I've been there, and I hope when someone said earlier, oh, this place isn't going to be the same way it is in 10 years, and that makes me sad. Just like I said, if we could maybe do it smart, it's coming, it can be done. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? We'll close the hearing at 7:04. Being item number 5, consideration and possible action on ordinance 1057-24 regarding a zone change application submitted by CAJ Family Limited Partnership for the purpose of developing an auto zone, a retail sales use. Zoning change application requests change the zoning from Article 6 R1B, medium density, single dwelling unit, quarter acre residential district, with Article 10, overlay district, to Article 11, B1, general business district, with Article 10, overlay district. The property affected is located at 1539 East Washington, Navasota, Texas, 77868, legally described as Jones Block 1, Lot 3.
Mr. Mayor, I want to add to the comments that we've made over the years, at least that I've made, and that is that I think that commercial creep is an issue. One of the speakers said that you go to any other town and that's what you see, is commercial and then residential behind it. Mr. Mayor, that's not what I want to see. That's not what Navasota is. We have purposefully put in a road, drew a line and said, this is where we want commercial and this is where we don't want it. And so I feel like I keep saying it. I think I represent the majority of the community, whether they're sitting in this room or not sitting in this room. But I move to deny ordinance 1057-24.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Stevens to deny the request for ordinance 1057-24. Any further discussion?
Yes, I would like to just say that I would like to thank everyone for coming. I've sat here and I've listened to the for and for the against. Without you coming speaking, we would make a decision up here what we think is best for the community. So that's why I want to thank you for coming and speaking, letting us know how you feel. Sitting here listening, heard the pros and the cons. We're all up here come from different backgrounds, different families and everything. We all up here have an open-minded. Some years ago, our forefathers, they got together and decided to preserve the beauty of Navasota. And this was one part of the town that they said, we're going to stop the encroachment on businesses coming down East Washington. I've said on P&Z twice, we had the Taco Bell, and we had a doctor's office that's tried to come and was denied. You come and spoke against it, and you're here again, and you're probably going to have to come again because that's just the way the system is set up. But if you don't show up, that's the only way it's probably going to creep down East Washington. But you've got to keep coming, keep voicing your opinion. Navasota's a great town. People are moving here for a reason. Once they drive through the town, they see the beauty of Navasota. I personally would love to keep that part of town looking nice, seeing the trees. It's a reason why that people want to come here. People want to live here. It's because the beauty of the town. And when you start letting businesses come down and take away from the beauty of the city, we don't have a city anymore. I want O'Reilly to come. I'm in business. I buy parts from, not O'Reilly, but the AutoZone. I buy parts from the AutoZone up on Highway 40 here every day. They come down here, they're delivering. We just don't want them at that location. Navasota's business friendly. We want every business to come to this town. But you cannot come to this town and want to change something and don't show up. Just because you've got $1 million company. That turned me off tonight when he wants to come and open a business here in our town and don't come and pitch his case in front of the council. That's horrible. Rule is set. You want to come to our town and open the business, come and present your case to us. Thank you.
I've heard it said that the best thing that we could do, if somehow we could work out a way for everybody that comes into Navasota to have to come in on Washington Avenue, it would give the best overall impression of the town. I don't want to lose that. Maybe they're right. I heard it 20 years ago from a developer that we were going to lose Washington Avenue, that it was going to all become commercial. It hasn't happened yet. Maybe this is a small step, but we forestall it just a little bit longer.
Well, I was involved in the overlay being established.
Yeah.
And there were good reasons for it. And it also, a lot of folks don't realize that it does allow for certain commercial development. Like was mentioned, I think, earlier about it, like a professional office or something that doesn't have, traffic or other environmental or different type issues. I don't think a lot of people realize that, so I wanted to make sure that was stated. But I definitely see the side of the effect on your property that's surrounding that. I also see the issue with the traffic that's already an issue there. And I find it hard to believe that there cannot be another location that would be suitable and affordable for this. So, all right, we have a motion from Mr. Fultz, second from Mr. Stevens to deny the zoning change application. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Thank you. And again, thank everyone. Thank y'all all for coming out to speak tonight. Don't make me hit the gavel.
Told you not a single road.
Please take, if you need to speak, and go outside, please. Thank you. Item 6, adoption of fiscal year 24-25 budget. Consideration and possible action on ordinance 1053-24, adopting the city of Navasota's budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, ending September 30th, 2025.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff has presented the proposed budget for the FY 2024-2025. To date, the only changes that have been made over the course of the last 2 months have been the increase for the police department budget of $20,000 for the addition of the 3 Motorola traffic and train cameras and the removal of the Sherp UTV high water rescue vehicle. The summary expenditures by fund for FY 2023 to 24, as well as the 2024 to 2025 budget are presented there for you. The tax rate will be decreased by 1.43 cents to 0.5078. Staff recommends that City Council approve the ordinance adopting the FY 2024 to 25 budget.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the ordinance 1053-24, adopting the City of Navasota's budget for the fiscal year beginning October the 1st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gessner, second by Mr. Fultz to approve ordinance 1053-24, adopting the City of Navasota's budget fiscal year October 1, 2024, ending September 30th, 2025. Any further discussion?
We need a show of hands.
Yes, I have.
Any further discussion?
Yes, I do have one. Is it any way that before we vote on this that we can take care of item number 11 first?
Any reason?
Well, the reason is, the question that I have is, the amount budgeted is $300,000, but the amount requested is $319,000.
So in the budget, you budget by fund, and so staff would have to find the additional funds to cover that. But in that agenda item, you'll notice staff is finding ways to reduce that from the amount that's on number 11 to be within the budgeted amount.
So we're passing the budget, and later down, we're gonna already do amendment?
No, sir. So again, we don't budget by line item. Staff budgets it by line item. You're budgeting based on the fund. And so for the general fund, we're budgeting $65,547. Of that, part of that, we have budgeted $300,000 for the mowing contract. the mowing contract that you've got on number 11, staff put in there that they found ways to reduce that amount down because it's based on number of mowing jobs. And so staff is understands that they've got to manage that it's to not to exceed 319. So I can tell staff, do not exceed 300,000. So that's where, and if they're going to go over it, they're going to have to tell me how they're going to come up with additional funds. So we're not amending the budget on number 11. That you're budgeting $16 million for the general fund, and of that, I'm going to have to make sure that we can provide the services for the mowing contract out of that amount.
So, back to number 11 here. I've never heard of us granting a contract up to a certain amount.
Yes, sir, we've
Without having
done
to-
that. There's many contracts we do that to amount not to exceed. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so often we'll write in a contract not to exceed amount if it's based on unit prices, which is essentially what this mowing contract is, because for every section of land that is mowed, for each time it's mowed, there's a price in there for that. But we don't know how much it will rain or if it will be a cold winter or not. So it sets a not to exceed amount, and then as the mowing is done, those amounts would essentially be deducted. Which I believe is what the city manager is saying. There's a good chance that even though it's up to 319,000, that because of those variables, weather and whatnot, it will not actually hit that amount. That's just the maximum amount that council would be authorizing for that contract. And if for some reason it did hit 319 and there's only 300,000 budgeted, then later in the year, when there's budget amendments done to clean that up, it would be done at that point.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the budget for 24-25. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Show of hands.
Oh,
Show of hands.
Show of hands.
Yep, show of hands.
All those in favor, raise. Show of hands. Those against, same sign. Motion carried. Item 7, consideration and possible action on ordinance 1054-24, adopting the tax rate for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, ending September 30th, 2025.
So the proposed tax rate of .5078 is what was used to prepare our 2024-25 budget. All required notices were published, and a public hearing was held at the beginning of the month to receive any feedback regarding this tax rate. The proposed tax rate is a reduction, as mentioned earlier, of 1.43 cents or 2.7% from the current tax rate that we have in place. That breakdown is for maintenance and operations, it's 0.4599, and for interest and sinking, it's 0.0479. Staff is recommending that City Council approve ordinance number 1054-24 by using the exact wording in the motion as described below, and a record vote needs to occur.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of the tax rate of .5078, which is effectively a 4.46% increase in the tax rate, and approve ordinance number 1054-24, establishing the tax rate of .5078 per 100 assessed valuation for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Motion by Mr. Gessner, second by Mr. Fultz to approve the tax rate at .5078 read as the motion was read. And again, if those in favor show a show of hands. Same sign against. Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, just,
I know you wanted to make a point during this item, right?
it's just a coincidence that on the ordinance on paragraph number 2, we got some words in here that hereinafter and herein above, all is one word on each one of them. I thought was interesting. And that's some of that lawyer talk that we pay extra for.
Wherefore art thou? Item 8, consideration of possible action on ordinance 1055-24, amending the Code of Ordinances Appendix A fee schedule, Article A13, adopting the revised sanitation rates for the city of Navasota with an effective date February 1, 2025.
So in accordance with the service contract that the city has with Republic Services, a written letter is required by July 31st of each year to inform us of a unit price adjustment annually. We received this letter on July 9th, requesting this adjustment to be effective February 1st, 2025. The adjusted rate is based on the CPI of 3.8%. Staff has adjusted the fee schedule within Appendix A of fee schedule of the Code of Ordinances to adjust all sanitation rates related to the agreement with Republic Services by that percentage. A resident's monthly garbage fee will be increased from $23.70 to $24.60, which is a monthly increase of 90 cents. Staff recommends the approval of this CPI rate adjustment as well as approving ordinance number 1055-24 to be effective February 1st, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 1055-24.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Gessner to approve ordinance 1055-24 of the Code of Ordinances Appendix A fee schedule, which are revised Republic Services sanitation rates.
We also have to recommend approval of CPI rate adjustment.
Okay, is that in your motion? Be in the motion?
No, so by adopting the ordinance, we are adopting
It
that
does it?
requirement. Yes,
Okay.
it's in the ordinance. Listed in the ordinance.
Just want to make sure we were covered.
Have a motion and a second, and we can just regular vote on this?
Yes, sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 9, consideration and possible action on ordinance 1056-24, amending the Code of Ordinances Appendix A fee schedule, Article A5, adopting the revised water, natural gas, and wastewater sewer monthly rates for the city of Navasota, effective date October 1, 2024.
Sorry. As part of the utility rate study performed by Neogen in 2022, staff is recommending an increase in utility rates to be effective October 1st, 2024. The example provided at the public hearing and again today is consumption of 6,000 gallons of water, natural gas usage of 6 MCFs, wastewater usage of 3,000 gallons. What that represents is overall, for those three services mentioned, an increase of $12.62 to the average residential bill, or 8.4%. And this is the increase the increase per month. Staff is recommending that council approve ordinance 1056-24, revising the monthly utility rates for water, natural gas, and wastewater, excuse me, with an effective date of October 1st, 2024.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance 1056-24, amending Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, fee schedule, Article A5.000. Second.
Motion by Mr. Stevens, second by Mr. Gessner to approve ordinance 1056-24, amending the Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, fee schedule. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries.
Thank you.
Item 10, consideration and possible action on interlocal agreement between the City of Navasota and Grimes County for fire protection in the unincorporated areas of Grimes County, fiscal year 24-25.
Jason Katkowski, Fire Chief. Mayor and City Council, this is a renewal of the interlocal agreement between the City of Navasota and Grimes County for fire protection out in the unincorporated areas. It is the same agreement that we've had in place for the last several years. The only exception to this one is there's been an increase from $105,000 annually to $115,000. And the Commissioners Court approved this agreement last week.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the interlocal agreement between the City of Navasota and Grimes County for the fire protection in the unincorporated areas of the county for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Second. Motion by Mr. Gessner, second by Mr. Fultz to approve interlocal agreement between the City of Navasota and Grimes County for fire protection, unincorporated areas of the county, FY 24-25. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Couldn't have gotten a little bit more. No, we know. Item 11, consideration and possible action on the contract between the City of Navasota and J.C. Sand, Dirt, and Construction Services, LLC for the fiscal year 24-25 annual lawn care contract for an amount not to exceed $319,843 for the base bid items.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, Jose Coronilla. Hopefully we can answer some of the questions that you might have, Councilman. Recently, the City of Navasota advertised and held bidding for the annual mowing service agreement for the fiscal year 24-25. The Public Works Department reached out to 8 local bidders while advertising the mowing contract for this year. Total of 3 companies submitted the bid offers. The currently mowing service contractor, J.C. and Dirt Construction Services, LLC, return is the lowest bidder at $319,843. This is only for the base bid. We also have Miller Park is a alternate for this. Staff recommended to keep it in house, if that's okay. It's $200 per visit, of $9,400 a month. That will be included to the base bid, which at this point I'm also going to ask if we recommended to keep it in-house, keep us mowing it, but it will be also up to you guys to decide if you want to add that to the bid. It's $200 per visit, 947 visits, $9,400. But we're only trying to get the base bid at this point. This year, as you were asking about it, Councilman, this year the Public Works increased the anticipated number of mowing visits from 39 visits to 47. So basically, we always mow only 39 times. This year, because of the rain and everything, we have a very wet summer, it had increased to 47. So basically, 47 is the maximum visits that they can have. We have 52 weeks in a year. So out of those, a minimum of 5 will be done during the winter. During the whole month of January, we would not be mowing those areas because it was frozen, freezing basically. We normally cut several weeks between 2 months during the summer, but this past summer we could not do it. So it was very difficult for us to keep that. So based on this experience, we added the 47 full weeks to this contract. So 47 weeks is the maximum weeks that we can actually mow. The new contract is reading to be paid on per visit. Will be used at $7,169 for the full visit. Reducing the amount of mowing by the tree will next fiscal, bringing the amount to service in-house is the best option until then. So basically, if we can stop the mowing for 3 weeks during the summer, we can easily go back down to the $300,000 that we budgeted for during the year. And it could be more, could be more than that. But that's kind of what we're shooting for. Hopefully we can make that happen so we can go down to the 300 if we do not exceed the $319,000 that is going to cost us to do it. Staff will continue to evaluate during the next fiscal year if bringing the mowing service in-house is the best option. Until then, staff recommends the City Council to award the annual mowing service contract to J.C. Sand & Dirt Construction Services, LLC, for the amount not to exceed $319,843 for the base bid items, not including Miller Park.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Do they come on a regular schedule that you develop for them, or if you say, hey, don't come this time, or, or?
Yeah, that basically, and that's kind of what it was, basically that's what this contract allowed us to do. If we ask them not to mow certain areas, we can just take it off. They schedule every week to mow all 56 places. But if we ask them not to do it, they just don't add it to their invoice.
Got it.
So the year before last, it was very dry during the summer, and so they were out, the previous contract was out mowing August horse, and all they were mowing was dirt.
That's right, throwing up clouds of dirt.
So, or dust.
Just wondered how that worked.
Say, I've got several questions here.
Yeah, and I also have a JC Construction. I think Eduardo, if you have any questions to him, he's also here to answer any other questions that you
Okay,
may
well,
have.
the first question gonna be, I guess, to you, to Jason.
Yes.
Did we add more properties to the contract this year?
We had, not from last year.
Not from last year? So, he's getting a $103,000 raise from last year?
No, we didn't increase, we increased the amount of weeks from the last contract.
That's $57,000.
Right. And the last, so on one of the last, and this is what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid, and it's the reason we're doing this again. So there was a couple of areas on this contract that we missed on the last one. Like, one of them was Stacy Park. So we couldn't find a Stacy Park. We didn't know where Stacy Park was because I didn't know that it was actually named Stacy Park, which is there was 2 parks. It was Cleveland Park and the Stacy Park. Those parks were not, we couldn't figure out which ones were there. We didn't know. So when we did the contract, we did it without those 2 parks. So basically what happened was that we add more, we had to add those 2 parks to this contract. And correct me if I know you, the legal advice tells us that that's why we had to rebid it again because there was an issue with those properties. The Creek Bank was bid at $15, and I think we talked about this on one of the meetings. So the way everybody did it, I guess it was a confusion about how much they had to mow on the creek bank. So they actually bid it at $15 to do the whole creek. Well, we have to amend that or change that because there was no way that they could do it for $15 per visit. So that's kind of part of what was increased last year, that you didn't really see it on the first bid, but it was actually $247,000.
So by the time everything was said and done last year, I'm going to take them at faith because that sounds right, about 247. And if you ran the same quantities on this contract, so that was part of what we did looking at this when we were looking at hiring the same guy, it's about 289,000 if the quantities were all kept the same. In this contract, we've increased the vast majority. We've added a third mulching. We did, however, decrease the number of times we expected him to maintain that creek, knowing that was a high dollar item. So we did do some things to do that, and like Jose explained, this is based off of last year's number. In Texas, wet years tend to come in pairs. So we want to be prepared for this next year and not have to be coming at y'all in the middle of the year for a change order for this to keep the mowing contract going.
But didn't we just do a change order here the month before last for $24,000?
That's what we're trying to avoid this year.
Yeah.
That increased the number by a couple.
So that was for what?
That increased by a couple of, I'm sorry, Jose, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, that was for the creek bank and they adding those two properties.
When you say creek bank, can you identify which creek?
Yeah,
bank?
so the creek along Bruley, Cedar Creek.
From here to Highway 6?
It's all the way from Brookshire Brothers. It actually is a little more. So we did everything from Brookshire Brothers on the north side of that bank, and then they also do the south side of the creek, although on Bruley Avenue, all the way from from LaSalle all the way to Brossy. So what's in it, they come here and the only way to keep that maintained is a weed eating. So that's all they do. They just have to go in there with personnel and weed eat pretty much everything. That's the only way to keep
Bring back the goats.
I was gonna say, did the goats cost more than?
Yeah, definitely. That costs more than it's probably, it only lasts about a week. You have to do it again in a couple of weeks.
What was the other two bids that we received on this?
Green Teams. Green Teams.
Teams that used to do it.
So Green Teams was
349, right at 350.
349, 794. Right at 350,000.
Because we didn't get that in the package. Last year we got it in the package, but we didn't get it in this package.
It was in there all
Yeah, it's
the
in
time.
there. They can only put two bids on.
It's in there.
Where?
It's right after.
The green sheet?
It's right after the green teams.
White sheet?
In the green for it?
So we ran out of room to fit it on a letter page, so what you have is one bid tab that shows the first two bidders, and then directly behind that you have third and fourth place.
Just so you'll know, green teams was 349, 794. Landmark landscaping was 377, 685. And then Romondo's lawn care, $663,000.
Man. I'll make it worth his while.
Nobody locally? Nobody bid locally?
Ramondo's.
I think Ramondo's is, but the biggest part of that was he bid nearly $165,000 just for the cemetery. Where, JC Construction, is at $77,000.
So my question to you, and I remember, I don't know which meeting it was, but at some meeting, we were talking about that there were numerous problems with the contractor. Are those issues resolved? And are they coming on a regular basis, and are we in uniform like we asked them to be? I've received a message that they were in uniform, but I've seen them several times not in uniform. and they were mowing today, parked over by the skate park. Two of the guys, I don't know who they were with, but I assume it was him. But one of the guys was working without a uniform. Just making sure that you're happy with what you're getting, right? I mean, staff is still good with.
Yeah, it's very understandable. So I've been working closely with JC on this matter because there was a lot of issues. And the past, 6 weeks or a couple of months, I noticed a lot of changes. He changed personnel. And like I said, he's here if he wants to come over and speak on this. I'm not going to speak on this behalf. I noticed changes. I do notice that he took over responsibilities on issues that happened because we're going to have I feel like we had issues with pretty much all the contractors that we might have. It's not new. It's personnel, the ones that have the issues. I'm pretty sure that we all know that. And the new proposal that Mr. Shimadomo wants to come to us, we kind of sit here and say, why not? This is the lowest bid. We can actually cut. It's easier to cut $19,000 than it is $47,000 for sure. So this is kind of one of the things that we got in a group, and we talk about it, and we said that based on what he's explained to me, what he's gonna do, he's talking about having a video of the whole cemetery or the areas that he has more issues with, and present it to us in a way where he can actually see what's out there, and every week he knows he has to perform there. There's no questions about it. He has a plan to tackle that. Like I say, he has more personnel and more equipment on. That's what he's been talking to me about, or talk to us about.
Well, sir, I do want to give you some big accolades on the ground here at City Hall. You do have that looking real good the whole year. The grounds here has been looking real good.
Excuse me?
The grounds here at City Hall has been looking real good.
You want to come on, Level?
Yes, sir. Excuse me. Yeah, I was just saying that the grounds here at City Hall, you've been doing an excellent job. Good job.
No, we are, thank you for that, but no, we have some issues. We have worked with that, and then we try to fix it, work together with Public Works. Like he said, the cemetery is a very,
Delicate.
area. Like you have to take care about everything, the graves and the grass. Now we don't have to put pesticide. We have to do everything with litter. So, it takes a little bit more time for do that. So we are trying to do our best in different more areas. We try to focus on some different areas that needs more, now is the tournament and soccer fields, planter boxes. We're trying to work with them, kind of issues of irrigation. So, but yeah, we are trying to do our best. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move to award the contract to J.C. Dirt and Construction Services in an amount not to exceed $319,843 for the 2024 annual lawn care contract.
Second.
Yep.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Harris to approve the contract between the City of Navasota and J.C. Sand Dirt and Construction Services LLC, FY 24-25 annual lawn care contract, amount not to exceed $319,843. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 12, consideration and possible action on change order number 5 for the Streets and Utilities Capital Improvement Project in the amount of negative $31,085.30.
Yes, come on up. You can talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. John McKay here, graduate engineer. On this CIP project, this is change order number 5. This is coming to y'all. About a year ago, y'all changed policies and allowed us to deal with administratively change orders under $25,000 as long as the project was under budget. This is, even though it's negative, it is greater than $25,000 worth of change, so that's why we're here before you. What you see here is kind of a conglomeration of a lot of different changes that have happened throughout the field. Most of these positives are things that you're seeing as either overruns or swap outs that have happened over the field, mostly in paving. A lot of these negatives, what you are seeing is either, so one of the largest items here is we bid 6-inch curb, and when they came in and they fixed the curbs, they ended up having to go back in with an 8-inch curb. So you'll see spots where you have a negative for a 6 and a positive for an 8, and just swaps like that. But at the same time, you'll see in utilities, there's areas that we were able to save existing utilities, because when we got down there, they're in perfectly good shape. So now that utilities are done, we talked to the contractor to go ahead and let's just get all utility items squared away. Let's call that part of the project done. We're only dealing with the paving project rolling forward. So this is kind of conglomeration of all that, and together it came out to a negative $31,000 change order.
So does this goes back into the streets?
What do you mean, sir?
Do we do another street with, do part filling potholes or something with this $31,000, or do it
No,
goes
sir, 'cause
back in the general fund?
This isn't the last one that we're going to end up seeing. We still have this second round of BPI coming in. If you notice net on here, this is a positive paving change order. The paving things is an increased cost. It's really the utilities that were your savings. We're not done with the paving yet. We expect to see some more increases after this. That's what we're holding this back for.
Oh, increases. So
Yes, this is temporary good news.
Okay, so it's -9 and next week be positive.
So once we finish the major CIP project, once it's done and everything, all bills have been paid, we're gonna close it out, and we'll come with you with a summary of here's where we ended up.
I move to approve change order number 5 to the contract between the City of Navasota and Kinchick General Contractors in the amount of negative $31,085.30.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Mr. Stevens. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carried.
Thank y'all.
Item 13, consideration of possible action on appointments to the City of Navasota boards and commissions.
Mayor and City Council, before you is the ballot with a lot of candidates' names. The terms will be for a 2-year period that would end in September of 2026. So I would suggest, or would appreciate if y'all would take each board separately and vote on them like that, like y'all have done in the past.
Okay.
And I thought Michelle did a really good job on the chart this year.
Yeah, thank y'all very much, and yeah, it's gotten
getting better.
better and better, yeah. Especially if you knew how it was done before, and you do, and you do. Okay, we'll start with the Airport Advisory Committee. With a resignation, there are 4 positions open. Up for reappointment, Mr. Deering, I don't know how to say it. Mr. Franca and Mrs. Newsom. Just to point out, Mr. Deering is our FBO, so it would be probably prudent to keep him.
And I would like to
And we
keep
have
Frank.
new applications from Sheldon Shelley, Dan Arnold, and Robert Miller. Just comments, yeah.
Yeah, I would like for Frank to stay on there. Mark Franco.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to appoint, if I could, step over you, Mr. Harris, and just say Michael Deering, Mark Franca, Martha Newsom, and Dan Arnold.
Second that.
Second.
Oh, okay. So you're, okay, going with Mr. Deering, Franca, Newsom, and Arnold. Okay. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none. Got it?
Got it.
Got it.
Thank you.
Board of Adjustment, we have 4 positions open. We have 2 that are ending terms and 2 that are vacant. I want to back up real quick because I want to say that there have been a huge amount of applicants this year, and it's making it quite a task for us to go. We had to go through all the applications, but we're just thrilled that we had so much interest. And even though there were that many, I think we all as a group need to, put the focus on whether they, even though there may not be a requirement for owning property, that needs to be a pretty big consideration, especially when you have, a huge amount of applicants, but that's just my comment. Board of Adjustment, anyway, back to that. Did you have something?
That's five regular ones and 3 alternates, is that it?
There are 5 regulars and 4 alternates total, but 2 of the alternates are vacant.
I'd like to move we reappoint Nancy Vitato, Alan Phillips, and new applicants Jennifer McKay and Deborah Fincher. Board of Adjustment.
And I'll point out that Mr. Phillips is currently the vice chair, is that correct? Okay. Okay, so we have a motion for Mrs. Vidotto, Mr. Phillips, which were both up for reappointment, and then Mrs. McKay and Mrs. Fincher.
Just for clarification from someone, can Teresa Clark, can she serve on any as being an employee of, or being the mother of an employee?
Yes, she can.
All right.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and there's any discussion about that. We just point out that,
Who is the other person besides Jennifer?
Deborah Fincher.
She went to attended.
She actually attended NCU, and I think she also applied for P&Z. I believe a Pecan Lakes resident, I believe.
She is.
Okay, any further discussion on that one? Okay, well, back to the motion was Vidotto, Phillips, McKay, and Fincher. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Economic Development Corporation, 3 positions open. One, we have longtime member, Mr. Mike Harris, did not reapply. He wants to allow some new folks to come in and get involved.
I think that Roger Lawrence was on the Aviation Committee too and turned that down because of health. I think he's also resigned from this.
That's correct. So there are a total of 3 positions open.
With 1 reapplying.
And there's one that was up for reappointment. The one that was up for reappointment that did want to stay on is Lucy Ibarra, who is the executive director of the Navasota-Grimes County Chamber of Commerce Economic Development. And I think she should definitely be reappointed because of that connection. And that was kind of a standard that we set as I being a member of the EDC a few years back. And so that would mean we need to look for 2 that would be under the new applications.
2 or 3?
2. Because if you reappoint Lucy, that's one of the 3.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
I think I'd like to throw in Aaron Davis.
Yeah, his app, he's a landman by trade, I believe. is a city resident and owns property at the city hall. Some of the other applicants are already serving on other boards currently. So I think, again, with the amount of applicants, we don't want to overwork anybody. I wouldn't. Carrie, yes, she's often known as P&Z, but is a local realtor.
I move to appoint Lucy Yubera, Aaron Davis, and Sherry Gillespie to economic development.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Stevens to appoint Lucy Yubera, Aaron Davis, and Sherry Gillespie to fill the 3 open positions of economic development, which we figure out position numbers. We don't have to do all that.
To do that, no, sir, we'll get that.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Keep Navasota Beautiful Commission, 5 positions open. 1 did not wish to be reappointed. Another, I think just we didn't hear back from, right?
2 of them does not.
Two. Okay. So basically, there are 3 of the 5 that would be willing to be reappointed, and that would leave 2 new applicants.
No, but she owns 2 businesses here.
Mr. Maderos is up for reappointment. He attended NCU.
Mr. Mayor, I move to appoint Michael Meteors, Tiffany Woodard, Sierra Higginbotham, Melinda Pimentel, and Deborah Fouts to keep Navasota beautiful.
Second. Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Harris to appoint Michael Maderos, Tiffany Woodard, Sierra Higginbotham, Melinda Jean Pimentel, and Deborah Fouts to keep Navasota Beautiful Commission. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, item carries. Navasota Housing Authority, we have 3 positions open. Deborah McGregor, Mac Vaughn, and Robert Goldstein, all up for reappointment and have agreed to serve again.
Mac Vaughn is on 2 other commissions too,
He is, that is correct.
and neither one of those are up for reappointment this year. So I think that we ought to replace him.
With?
There were quite a few, yeah.
Deborah
there were quite a few.
Grimes is one that would be very good on that.
And she does have prior,
Experience with it.
she used to run, Buckingham, excuse me.
One of those hams.
Did her husband serve on that board?
He used to be on the
Yes.
Fort Housing Authority, yeah, sure did. So she kinda knows what it's about.
Donna Avery, is that Doug Avery?
Yeah.
I move that we nominate Deborah McGregor, Robert Goldstein, and Deborah Grimes.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gessner, second by Mr. Stevens to appoint Deborah McGregor. No. No. No?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's correct.
Sorry. I was looking at the other Deborah.
Deborah McGregor, Robert Goldstein, and
Deborah Grimes.
Debbie Grimes for the 3 positions on Navasota Housing Authority. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, item carries. Parks and Recreation Board, 4 positions open. Up for reappointment. 2 of the 4 were agreeable to be reappointed. That would be Mr. Colbert and Ms. Steinhauser. Did not hear back from Ms. Matthews, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then there was one that did not want to be reappointed, so that we can either reappoint the 2 that want to stay on, and then we'll need 2 new ones.
Dee Dee Setzer.
I'd like to see her on it. She's been
Yeah.
real active
Yeah.
in stuff we've been working on lately.
I would agree with that. I've seen-
And George Taylor, who I think is a coach.
I would
Yeah.
think that'd be a good idea.
I'd like to, I was thinking that as well, bringing in NISD, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I was thinking that too.
Mayor?
So would that be, you want to make a motion on something like
I'd like to make a
that?
motion that, we reappoint Barry Wade Colbert, Michelle Steinhauser, and new appointees Dee Dee Setzer and George Taylor.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Stevens, second by Mr. Phillips and Mr. Gessner. Any further discussion?
Mayor, who seconded that one between the 2?
Well, I guess we'll give it to, I'm gonna give it to Bernie.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think he got it out just slightly quicker.
He's certainly
I needed the points.
It's
Of
close.
course, it's dark outside and he,
Yeah.
anyway, that's a whole nother. Okay, we have planning and zoning, we have 3
Got a
positions.
vote? Oh, we got a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Thank you. It's getting late. Planning and Zoning Commission, 3 positions open. We have up for reappointment Dr. Walla, Ms. Kitkoski, and Ms. Copeland, all 3 of which have agreed to continue to serve. So that, that's what we have there, and we have a very large amount of other applications, so there are things to consider there. And I think they provided things like meeting attendance and things that you can have as part of the consideration.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we reappoint Dr. John Waller, Carolyn Kitkowski, and Dale Copeland.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Fultz to reappoint Dr. Wallach, Ms. Kitkowski, and Ms. Copeland. Any further discussion?
I think that in the future, when we get this kind of response, we're gonna have to start looking at maybe term limits on some of these people. It's wonderful to have people who have dedicated years in some of these subjects, and you have this problem with term limits. But we have an awful lot of people that would like to be on.
Yeah, and they come to meetings too,
Yeah,
so
and
you
they
can't
bring-
use
and they bring-
attendance
and
really.
They bring new ideas, and that's what you want,
Yeah.
is new ideas.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
so in the future, consideration for the maximum number of terms they can serve.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to take
Do the
it up
ordinances.
separately, though.
Yeah, that can be brought up
Have it
later.
bigger.
Noted.
No,
Okay. All right, have I taken a vote on that?
no, you have not yet.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. And that would be all for the board.
Thanks to all those who volunteered.
Yeah, thank you, yeah, exactly. Is that it? Okay. We're adjourned.